I'm at Buckmore Park, and I've been invited here along with apparently the best rental karters in the country to compete in the Kart Race of Champions. How I got invited to this? Absolutely no idea. But we're here, and we're here to try our best to kick some butt. The format of the event is we've got a qualifying session, 2 heats, and then a final. But it's not Sunday, and it's not morning, so what are we doing here at Buckmore Park on a Saturday evening? Well, it is a bit silly to compete in something as big as this without any practice. So we've got a practice session booked. Let's head on in. Now, the absolute first thing that I wanted to do for practice was not get to grips with the circuit. It's about overtaking people, because we have random grids for the race, so I wanted to let through as many people as possible. That way I'd be at the very back of this train of karts, and I'd be able to overtake as many people as possible. And that's what you can see. I'm letting through a whole bunch of people before I decide it is time. Now that everyone has got past us, we can get ready to go racing. And here is our first overtake. This guy goes a little bit wide, so we're going to go and send it up the inside into hairpin number 2. These two are then getting a little bit feisty, but get a good run, which means that the inside is open for us to do a beautiful send. We just about avoid running into the driver ahead. But again, it was all about practice, and then we send it up the inside into this double left-hander. But Mr. Cameron Das hangs it around the outside very well, and I'm going to have to wait for a little bit later to get that overtake done as we head down the hill through the sign sweep and into Pullman. He sends it up the inside into this corner. We have to slot him behind. Number 5 goes to the outside. I say thank you very much. I'll go up the inside. But practice was going really, really well. I was getting to grips with the car, getting to grips with the circuit. Number 5, in fairness to him, did send me back into hairpin 1. Fair play, but I was having absolutely none of that. I was like, you know what, let me show you how you send it into hairpin 1. There we go. Get the position back. But yeah, practice was going well. I felt good. I felt like I was starting to slowly understand how the kart behaved and how I wanted and needed, most particularly, to drive the kart. So I was very happy, and I could see some quick drivers. I could see that I was catching them. As we go through this right-hander, we get a really good exit. We're going to move on over to the inside, and we are going to go up the inside into the hairpin, although we do take a little bit too much cut. But again, it's all about practice, right? It's about learning what's happening with the car and with the circuit. And again, we've caught up to Mr. Cameron Das, but he's now trying to get through on another driver, and we're going to get a beautiful run and go up the inside, possibly a heavyweight driver, and get another overtake done. I then saw that Cameron Das had a penalty and a black flag, and I was like, right, okay, I've got to get past him as quickly as possible. We get a beautiful run through the double right-hander, so we're going to send it up the inside into hairpin 1. We do go a little bit wide on exit, but we get the job done. That's the important thing. Tick that off on the list of overtaking a karting or racing YouTuber in general. And then I caught up to these two. Number 11 has a bad run, so I'm thinking, how can I get through? I'm going to go for the old switcheroonies up the hill and through Cafe Corner to get another position. And now all that's left is Mo Hassan himself. And look how much we close in under braking into turn 1. Yes, we run a little bit wide through turn 2, but we're still really close. Again, closing in under braking, we get on the power so much earlier, and we can send it up the inside into the double left-hander. Juicy stuff. So again, practice was just going well, getting to grips with the circuit, how everything behaves. Here's another driver that we've caught up, and we're going to go up the inside into the hairpin, but we get it wrong way too late on the brakes, and we're just going to get overtaken on corner exit. So again, there's a good opportunity for me to learn something. Again, look how much I'm closing in through the initial phase of braking. I do lose a bit on exit. We're about a car length behind. That's close enough. Up the inside we go into the hairpin. And I think that was pretty much it. There's a checkered flag, so that meant practice did draw to a close, and that was the end of my Saturday. And to be honest, a pretty decent practice session. I'll take that. We were 4th at quickest in the session, but I'm going to go back over to Vlog Me to break it down. So, not too bad. Not too bad. Taking off a helmet while holding the camera is interesting, but yeah, 4th. I think we can take that, just about. Only a 10th off. I'll get back home, I'll watch the footage, try to figure out where I can gain a bit of time. I'll tell myself that it was a kart. If I had a better kart, I'd be, you know, a 10th quicker, but I think Reese is ridiculously fast. Everyone else I think I've got a chance of beating. So it was coming to us. I think consistency was really good, so I'll have to check the lap times. I'll overlay it onto the screen, so you'll see my lap times now, but I haven't actually seen all of them. Yeah, good. So now time to get a drink, go home, do some revision, and then back in tomorrow. We are going over our footage from practice. So we got the memory card in and just watching over the laps lines. I'm trying to figure out, so I've got Alpha Live timing up, and I've just double checked where are my quick laps, where are the slow laps, and going over all of the laps to figure out what was I doing right, what was I doing wrong. So I tried out like 3 or 4 different lines through some corners. So now's a good chance to look at those lines, figure out which ones work best, and then get a little head start for tomorrow.
What are you eating?
Yum yum.
How does it taste?
Like a donut. I mean, it does. It's literally.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to say yum. Obviously, you're supposed to say yum.
I did that before.
We're not on this video. Do you want me to stop recording now? Or?
Yeah. Alright, so it is Sunday morning. It is nice and sunny. Ta-da, we're at Buckmore. And oh my god, it's Samuel Essery. Hello, Sam. You alright? I'm going to beat him. Fancy running into him. Sam used to do Club 100. Now he's too good for Club 100 or something like that. We've got a free breakfast, although considering I paid $2.50 for the event, I'd say it's not technically free. So gonna have this. We got a nice little shirt. We've got a helmet visor, and then we'll be good to go racing. You alright? Hello, hello. So driver's briefing is an opportunity for all of the drivers just to understand what the rules are for the day, as well as the format and some other stuff. I didn't want to show too much of this, but instead, have a listen to these karts.
That is the bollocks.
Okay, so
So these were some really cool owner karts that they had out on display. And then the first race got underway, which was an opportunity for me just to watch the race, see how everything unfolded, and again, just try to get a little bit more information to use for my own races. And with that, it's time for heat number 1. But first of all, qualifying. Now, I knew that I wanted clear space. I didn't want to be one of those guys who went out into qualifying right behind another car and then lose time battling. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to let as many people pass as possible, ensure that I am in clear space. But the very front runners who started qualifying, you might just see their helmets popping up into view on the right hand side of your screen shortly. But either way, I was well aware that they were coming, and you could just see them at the end on the right. I couldn't though get a good qualifying lap in, so I then pulled over to the right. I let these two through, and I thought, okay, right, I've got a target, I've got a kart to follow. And that was probably actually one of the smartest things I did, because my next lap was my very best lap. And I was able to improve a bit, but not by a lot. A 50.5 when on the Saturday evening, when it was a bit colder and not as quick, I did a 50.1, so I was absolutely gutted. You can see on the right hand side of the screen there is a little time table there, and I was trying to look at that every single lap just to see roughly where I was, and yeah, it wasn't very good. So it was a disastrous qualifying, but the race could always be different. We're starting in, I've already forgotten where we started, but hey ho, away we go. And it is a relatively good start. We're able to go up the inside of number 8, who definitely didn't have a great car, as you guys are going to find out later on. I then think, you know what, I can hang around the outside of the hairpin That was just really dumb. I absolutely cannot do that. So we're now going to see what we can do. 17 goes a little bit wide. We get through on 17, and as I've said before, Kart 8 is a really, really bad kart. You'll find out exactly why. So we're able to just drive past him through the chicane, and now try to hunt down the drivers up ahead. And I can already start to see them batting. Now, I will just put in a little bit of a disclaimer, because after this race, I was a little bit upset with the kart. Having watched this back now, I think the kart wasn't terrible. I don't think it was great, don't get me wrong. I think it was on the lower half of the kart, but it wasn't atrocious. And now Jamie Gooden has been absolutely murdered by someone, and I'm thinking, okay, let's get involved. People are going absolutely crazy as if it's the last race that ever existed. We're going to go to the outside, go around the outside of Tyler Gooden to gain the position. And now we're just watching all of this unfurl in front of us. They're going a little bit crazy, so we're going to try to get a good run through the right hand. And I'm thinking, right, what are we going to do? I'm going to let them kill each other, and then try to get the run out of the corner, which we do. But for some reason, I stopped getting the drive out of the corner, and I did feel like this car was a little bit poor on the bottom end. But kart 4 goes wide, so we're able to slide it up the inside and get the position, and then into hairpin 1 we're able to cover off the inside, and now try to work our way up through the order and hunt down a few more people. But then going through this part of the circuit, does someone send it up my inside? They absolutely do, and I try to avoid them. As a result, I go off the racing line. There's no grip. Then I get pushed. I think that's by Jamie Gooden. Jamie, terrible behaviour, although to be honest, it probably wasn't even him. It was probably someone pushing him into me. He's still alongside me, and I think he's going to go up my inside. He is indeed, so I try to swing back in behind him so nobody else can follow him through. And yeah, unfortunately, we dropped down a good old position. I was tempted to go up the inside into hairpin 2, but I could see that he was kind of covering it off, so I just sit behind him. You can see the drive that he gets out of that corner compared to me. That's what I'm basing the fact that my kart wasn't very good with. Eventually, Jamie, though, does get through on kart number 4, which means it's now my turn. Kart 4 is going to go for a really, really silly move, but I've done those moves in the past to bad effect. And we're going to go up the inside into this right hand. We turn it nice and late so that kart 4 can't get a good exit on us. So moving on then, this was my best lap of the day, and this was a mighty lap as well. Turn 1, absolutely nailed the first apex, a little bit wide through turn 2, but not too much time lost. Down into this hairpin, we get it slowed down. As you might have heard, no tyre squeal, absolutely perfect. On the brakes, nice tight line, double apex effectively through the corner. Again, it's just been really, really silky smooth, and this lap was so much quicker than all of my other laps. Down the hill, nice late apex, settle the kart, keep it all the way to the left, slow it down, absolutely cane the apex. We get a beautiful run as well. On the brakes, nice late apex through Garda, and then just open up the steering, and then thankfully we get a nice little toe as well. This is probably the best lap I've done all weekend at the circuit, and I got a slipstream, and it was only a 50.1. We make a double overtake at the end of the lap. So that lap was the exact same pretty much as what I did on the Sunday, as Megan goes up my inside, and I'm like, I ain't having any of that, bruv. Up the inside, or maybe not bruv, maybe sis, however you want to look at it. But we go up the inside, we get the position back, but unfortunately we can't quite pull away from the group behind. As I come down the hill, I don't get the best of runs. I try to get the apex, I've run a little bit wide, and that allows Cooper Wozniak to go up my inside, and I try to switch in behind him, but I get a little bit of a push from Megan, so we push her a little bit going through. Well, actually we don't really, we're ahead, so we're able to hold on to the position. And at this point I thought, right, stick with Cuba. My mind was in two parts, and I don't know which was the right one. I thought, okay, I can send him here. I was 100% thinking about sending him, but I thought, I'm struggling with the car. If I get a bad run, that's going to allow two others to catch up, and instead of maybe getting 8, I might drop down from 9th, which is where I currently am, down to 10th or 11th. So I decided to play it smart. Again, we're able to stick with him somehow. But we get such a bad run through that corner, and I just felt like I just had no front end at all. It was so... I don't know. I think I was massively overdriving the karts. I think that's what the issue was. Every time I started finding pace, I just started pushing a little bit too hard. But that's how heat number 1 went. So we were able to gain a few positions. We went from 13th to 9th, so not a bad job.
So heat 1 is finished. I got a really bad kart. I didn't drive it great, but qualified down in 15th. But managed to climb up to 9th because race trial. But yeah, I started finding a bit more time towards the end when I had a bit of slipstream, but yeah, just need to put the race behind and go into the next one, which I think we've got a P9 and a P10 car. So midfield, should be able to gain some places. And I guess now the aim is just get into the A final and then work from there. But yeah, it was a good race, lots of chaos, a bit of dirty driving. Not from me for once. Yeah, fun content.
So heading in to heat number 2, this was kart 8. This was my demon kart for the day, and you will see exactly why. We're getting ready for the race start, and as I mentioned in my kind of post-race talk, I wasn't too happy with that kart. It wasn't awful. I managed to get a good lap time. I got that 50.1 in, but at the same time, I felt like with that lap that I showed, it should have been a little bit quicker, but to be honest, it wasn't terrible. And this race has started. I'm now in kart 8, which, as I said before, was a demon, and you guys will see exactly why that is the case. We're heading down the hill, though, into this right-left chicane. Very, very fun chicane as well, and we get a much better run than kart 6, but we don't catch him on exit. And to be honest, at this point, I saw this huge train of karts, and I thought, okay, right, it's race time, let's see what we can do. But I needed them to battle for me to catch up, which I didn't really realize at this point in time. As usual, we gain a bit of time going into turn 1. These two are absolutely murdering each other. We give a little tap to one of the karts, probably a bit cheeky, I don't know. It wasn't a huge tap. But yeah, we sit behind, we're in the slipstream, we're in the tow, and he pulls away from us, and that's at high speed. That's not even at bottom end. So that's when you know that the car is starting to struggle. But then there is this massive battle going on. I make a bit of contact with the 16, and then look how much they all pull away from me, because I made that tap. I lost a bit of momentum, which is my own fault, but then the car has absolutely no grunt at low end. So it was really important to not lose too much speed in these karts, and they're going crazy. I'm going to push 16 along, so he goes for a move. He doesn't. I'm trying to get the switch back. I'm trying to find a way through, but again, I'm just struggling massively to get the drive out of corners. And then on the power, as we make our way up to the start-finish line, I'm thinking about going for a save. Go on, Milky. Hey, attaboy. Up the inside into turn 1. If you don't have the power, you do it on the brakes, as Kuba goes for a bit of a late move up the inside of number 8. I think he's a little bit annoyed with the driver of the number 8 car by this point, and we might see him get a little bit more annoyed as this race progresses as well. But we gained a position. This was a race we started from P9, if I'm not mistaken. And the number 6 very late up the inside of Kuba, who has to take avoiding action. Someone tries to go up the inside of me really late, and I say, what the hell? I'll just go off circuit, and then I go up the inside of Kuba, which I'm going to be honest, that was a bit of a joke overtake. I shouldn't have done that. But at that point, I was thinking, why has someone poked their nose up my inside? And now I've got to avoid. I've got to go wide. I'm not going to lose time from this. We get a good run on the number 6. Number 6 is going to go defensive, so I've got to go to the outside. That means that Kuba now goes up my inside. Oh, wait, no, it's... I'm going to call him Disney Suit. We go up the inside into the left-hander. I don't know what happened to number 6. He got an awful exit. And number 6 is, as a result, 16 is able to get back past his name on the back of that suit does look like the Disney Channel logo thing. 16 goes up the inside of number 6, and now 14 is trying to follow through, and I'm like, okay, what do I do? 14, that's very late. I wanted to go for a switchback, but then Kuba goes up my inside, and I'm thinking, okay, what can I do? Kuba's saying, let's work together, and I'm like, I can't work with anything right now. I'd love to work with my kart, but we go into, okay, I'm memeing the kart too much. It was bad, but I've made some bad mistakes in this race. Kuba, okay, Kuba, that was a bad send. Kuba's mad at him, and I'm like, go up the inside of Kuba. Can't quite get on the brakes late enough, so we'll have to slot in behind. We can be patient, we can wait, and we can see if we can close in, but I don't know why I was so slow through this section of the circuit, and usually I'm really quick, and then I just outbrake myself into the right hand. I think that guy poked his nose up the inside. I think that's what it was. And then I get absolutely yeeted, pushed into Garda, which I don't think I've ever outbraked myself for in my life. So got a nice little bump under braking, which made me go wide. But we're catching up to number 6 again, boys. And number 6 has made a mistake. We're closing in. He's looking over one shoulder. Surprise, boy, up the inside we go. Oh, damn, that's a bad exit. Number 13 is going to get through. Number 6 thinks he can get through. Absolutely not, Sonny Jim, and don't you dare turn into me. So we are going to gain 1, we're going to lose 2, and then gain 1 back again, because technically number 6 was ahead of me, even if it was only for a split second. But look at the closing speed that we have on the 13 heading through this sequence of the circuit. He goes wide, he goes a little bit bouncy, and I'm thinking, right, okay, let's line ourselves up for an overtake, but you can see him just pull away a little bit. So I've got to wait for about a lap later. Through the double right-hander, I get a nice exit, and now I'm going to go send it up the inside from a kart length back, get the move done, nice clean overtake, and we've got the inside to defend heading into the double left-hander. So we've gained a few positions, but I couldn't really do anything after that point. And then number 13 goes up my inside. I tried to close the door, but he's there, so we have to leave him just enough room. He gets through. I'm going to go for the inside. Way too late on the brakes, so I back off, because that's not how you do an overtake, is it, fellas? Considering we were entirely off the circuit and we didn't commit properly. So we're going to wait a little bit later. We fast forward an entire lap, and look how much we close up heading down the hill. Oh, he gets a little bit unsettled over the drain, and we're close enough to go up the inside into this right-hander, and we're able to gain a position. And after that, we held this position. So we went from P9 to P9, which, to be honest, considering the car and a last lap overtake, I'll take it. And you can see we had that 50.5 as our best lap time. Again, a fair bit off where I wanted to be. I had a few clear laps, but yeah, I just couldn't seem to hook it together. A little bit of the kart being poor, a fair bit of me being poor as well. But that's heat 2 done, so it's time for us to move onwards to heat number 3. So heat number 2 is done, and that was awful. Driving standards were appalling. We've got the heavyweights out behind us, and I mean, it's just bumper cars out there. So next race, different mindset. Not going to be, nice, tidy. We're just going to push it into the wall, because that's the driving standard, and no one's getting any black flags for it. I'm trying to be really nice, leaving space, and people just freaking abuse it. So yeah, I mean, I'm driving like crap anyway, but it is what it is. So we go on to the next one. Let's see how heat number 3 goes. Speaking of heat number 3, here we go, and as I said in that little clip, I was going to go into this elbows out. I got kart 8 again for the second time today, and we've already been overtaken completely by 2 people into turn 1. So I kind of went into this thinking I'll get my elbows out, but I'm just not the kind of driver. This person's just squeezing me for I don't know why. But hey ho. I'm trying my best to stay upbeat because I'm recording this segment now a couple of days after, but every time I go back onto this editing software to voiceover, I just get this pang of pain as Blaze sends it up my inside. Actually a clean move for once. It's good to see someone overtaking me cleanly. Yeah, I'll try to keep this positive and go into everything in a little bit more depth come the very end of this video, so do watch that bit, even if you don't want to watch anything else, just so I can kind of give my full kind of feelings and breakdowns for everything. But I came into this race and I was positive. I was thinking, right, I've had 2 bad heats, it's fine. 3rd heat, I can put it all together, right? I've been driving bad, let me reset, drive well, even if I've got a bad kart. There's a bit of contact going into turn 1 between these two, and I'm thinking, right, I'm going to push Blaze along because I want to go up the inside of the number 9 kart. Number 9 goes a little bit wide, I can follow 13 through. We gain a position, so I can see this big group of karts up ahead for first, and I'm thinking, right, as long as I get my shit together, I can catch these guys. And then a very nice end from Reese Kello, fair play to him. I thought maybe I could go up the inside, he does cover me off. And then I think, okay, right, let's get a switchback and maybe try to stick with him going up the hill. That is absolutely not happening. This is not happening, Yusuf. Dream on. But then we catch up to these two, so Blaze is caught up to Kim. We're able to go up the inside into the hairpin. We gain the position, and again, I'm just thinking, right, keep on working. Don't get mad. Don't keep doing my thing. But then into turn 1, Blaze gets through. Someone else follows through as well. And actually, 3 people go through. So he dropped down the order by a little bit. But again, I'm thinking, right, there's still a way to go in the race. I don't know what happened. I was trying my best while in the kart to just stay positive and do my thing. Because I know when I do my thing, I'm very quick. And we get a really nice run heading down the hill. Number 5 goes a little bit sideways. So we catch up and I'm thinking, right, here we go. Up the inside then into Garda. I have to brake late to get up the inside. I go into the back of Blaze. Sorry, Blaze, entirely my fault. I wasn't trying to compromise you or anything. Just wanted to make sure I got fully alongside the other kart, but a little bit of a silly move. I'm then going to go defensive into turn 1 so he can't go up the inside. But in the 1 second that I moved over to the left, he was able to get alongside me. So we lose that position. I probably shouldn't have left the door open. Fair move from him, a very good move as well, but I was doing everything I could just to stick with them. And then a couple of laps later, we catch back up to Blaze. I've got to run, and I'm thinking, right, can I send it up the inside? No, I'm instead going to look for a switchback, hoping that they'll take each other out. They kind of do. This is the last lap of the race as well. I get a good run, but again, I'm not going to be able to do anything going up the hill, and that is that. That is heat 3 drawing to a close. So it wasn't my best result. It was my worst result of the day. P13, a 50.7. The lap time, I went from a 50.1 to a 50.4, now 50.7. So yeah, a set of bad results, but that's how it goes. And those were the 3 heats of the day, and this was my thoughts on the race directly after.
So, Heat 3 is done. That was awful. P13. I had the same kart that I had in Heat 2, and I just can't drive. And it's not even that the kart's bad. There are other people who have been out in that kart who are going quicker than me. And in the heavies as well. So, I don't know. Clearly, I'm just driving wrong. I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. I feel like I'm doing everything right, but it's just like the things that used to work for me, I'm just slower. Like Adam Sheargold, who is quick, to be fair, was 1.2 seconds faster than me. 1.2! So yeah, I just can't drive anymore, guys. I'm washed, I'm officially washed, I'm going to have a shower. But yeah, finals to go. I'm probably going to be in the C final. And then all of a sudden I'm going to remember how to drive, and then I'm probably going to get a penalty and then not make it into the B final. So we'll see what happens in a bit. So, C final is out. We are starting, not in the C final, we're in the B final. So we're in 14. Unfortunately, we couldn't make the C final. 2 points too high. But yeah, let's see what we can do from 14th. Hopefully win the B final, and at least end the day on a positive.
So heading into the B final, we got Kart 8 again. We got this kart 3 times in a row, and the reason why I was so upset about this is how Kart 8 performed in the 5 races leading up to this B final. P17, 1.2 seconds off the pace. Then we have got this other one, Kart 8, down in 15th, 1.3 seconds off the pace. The next race, again, P16, and 1.4 seconds off the pace. To be fair, Kart 8 did alright in this one. Only 6 tenths off the pace, but still in 18th, and second slowest out on circuit. Then we got this one with Cameron Das, who is a quick driver, 1.2 seconds off the pace. I thought I'd show that because, one, I was a bit salty, but just to show that I'm not clinically insane. I don't just blame the kart when I'm bad. I blame the kart when the kart is actually bad. But this is the B final, and I got told that the kart had been swapped. So I came into this positive thinking the kart isn't the same kart that I had before. I get a slow start. I have to cover off the inside very early on. And heading into the first hairpin, I get an absolute shunt from behind. Get pushed wide. Thank you, Cameron Das, for that. In fairness, he might have been loaded, but hey, it still pushed me out wide. I then get pushed out through the next hairpin, so I just turn across this guy, because if he's going to push me and then think that he can get past me, absolutely not happening in a million years. But it was at that point that I started to realise that I'm driving like a bit of a pillock. And all that was in my head was, to be honest, at this point, I just thought I'm going to catch Cameron Das and absolutely rear-end him for what he did to me in hairpin 1. And I started to realise that's probably not the best way to drive a go-kart. So I wanted to try to get my head back in the space, but you can... All I was thinking about is how much time am I losing out of every corner? And through every single corner, I felt that I was carrying as much speed as the drivers in front, but they were absolutely launching it out of the corner in comparison to me. And I quickly realised, I think by this point I realised that this kart was exactly the same kart that I had in the previous races, and this kart had not been swapped, or it had been swapped and it was equally bad. So that was making me even more mad, because I told myself before the race that if that was the same kart, if I got Kart 8 again, I wouldn't race. So I was just here thinking, I want to go home. Like, I don't want to race in this kart because it's undrivable. And every corner I was going through, I was just losing time. And then you start to try to chase time, which is what I'd been doing all day. It's why I was driving bad, because I was overdriving the kart, trying to find time that wasn't there. We let Jake Taplin go. To be honest, I couldn't defend him anyway, and Jamie Tyler couldn't, because I know both of them, and I wanted them to try to win the B final to get into the A final, so I didn't want to hold them up too much. But I wanted to kind of compare my kart to theirs and see how much time I could gain or lose. I don't know if I get a touch. I get a bad exit, but I still lose so much time coming out of the corner, heading down the hill, and all that was in my head was, do I put the kart in the pit lane? So I was just waiting to kind of validate whether the kart was bad or whether I was just being an idiot. Going into this corner, this guy sends me up the inside. I get what I think is a decent run, but then as I come out of the corner, I realise that he's pulling away from me going up the hill, and I just think, you know what, I cannot be bothered with this. So I came in the pit. I rage quit. It's the only time I've ever rage quit from a race. I never thought it's something that I'd do. I've seen people do it in the past and thought that they're idiots. If it was a championship race, I'd stay in because you never know when you need the points. If it was an endurance race, I'd stay in because endurance and racing with friends. But for this, I just had no interest. It wasn't fun. I was getting annoyed, and I thought I was going to take someone out. So I called it quits there, and that brought an end to my K-Rock day.
Alright, so I'm home and a little bit of a post-event review. I'll try to keep it positive. I'm smiling. See, I'm happy. I'm not. I'm livid underneath, but you know, I try to keep things positive. Yeah, just I don't know what to say. 3 bad karts, and then I got the same kart again for the finals. I know racing goes that way sometimes, but I guess I'm just the unlucky sod this time who's got
the most rotten luck imaginable. On the plus side, at least we got some good content, so I hope you have enjoyed this video. Also, I will give a shout out, because I don't want this to sound sour. Clinton Bell and Kart Race of Champions have done a really good job to put on a really cool event. Like, they had Scalextrics and sim racing stuff going on. So the event as a whole was really cool. It's just a shame that... I'm not even going to say Buckmore Park karts were terrible. I think I just happened to get the same bad kart over and over again. I know the kart parity was kind of all over the place, but I think I've just been really, really unlucky. And it's annoying because you spend £200 plus something for a test session and driving there, so about £300 for that. It was anti-fun. You'd have to pay me to go through that again. So yeah, it is what it is. On the plus side, Man City won the Premier League, but I don't really care about football, so it's not really a positive. But we've got good content. I'd say learning experience. It's a painful experience, but that's the way karting goes sometimes. So credit to whoever won the finals. I don't know, to be honest. I don't really care. But yeah, driving standards were abysmal as well. But that was K-Rock. We'll be back for Club 100 shenanigans. A lot of these overtakes and maybe me getting overtaken will go onto the YouTube shorts. Also, that's the first ever time that I've retired from a race. I can't believe I've done that mid-race. And before anyone says like, oh my god, you're so salty, just get on with it, what's wrong with you? I've done endurance racing where we've had a kart that's a second lap off, but you're racing with a team of your mates and you kind of just get on with it because it's a long endurance race, it's a 24-hour race. I've had Club 100 rounds where I've had a really bad kart. I'll get on with it because it's a championship. I don't know if those points are going to be really useful to me for come the end of the season. But it's the Race of Champions. I'm there to win it. I'm not there to win a C final. I'm not even there to win a B final. So once I'm in the B final and I'm not going to get to the A final, which I realised within a single lap, what's the point? If I could have some battles, sure, great. I love karting, right? I love racing, but I wasn't going to have any battles. I was just going to fall back because I had a kart. So yeah, it is what it is. So kudos to Clinton Bell for putting on a cool event. Not saying that sarcastically. Genuinely, it was a really good event. Hopefully there are things that can be improved. I think the way that the karts got rotated around, like if there's a bad kart or a really good kart, it gets pulled to the side, but then it goes back in. Like, why isn't there someone to test the karts and make sure it's even with all the others? Because people have spent a fair bit of money. Personally, I feel like that should have been done. So yeah, also, if you guys don't know and you want a cool karting championship to hop into, Club 73. They go to like loads of different karting venues around the UK, well, southeast England, and they use the rental karts there. So yeah, you've got but it's a good championship, it's a fun championship, and it's very friendly. So if anyone is interested in getting karting, make sure you go there. And then maybe you can go into K-Rock and then have my rotten luck instead. Anyway, my arm's getting tired of holding this. It was fun. Make sure you like, subscribe, and see you all in the next video.